Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of my viewers from across the world. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of JForex Indicators Explained, we will be looking at the uses and the properties of the very well-known indicator. The name is Fibonacci pivot points. We will consider its uses on this newly released platform by the Dukascopy Bank SA JForex 4. We will see how we can customize this indicator to make trading fun and profitable at the same time. And this indicator gives us a good idea of the trend as well as the support and resistance points which we can utilize to optimize our entry and exit points so that we make much more money when we are right, and if we happen to be wrong we should be losing as little as possible. So that is the purpose behind this explanatory session where we can look at the possibilities which are generated in the market, and we will consider the opportunities which we can exploit using these indicator setup. This is the Euro USD chart drawn on the hourly time frame. This was drawn for last session. I will have to remove it. It is taking little time. All right, so here remove indicator. And you simply have to do a quick search and you will find this indicator. Type in the name Fibonacci, and here it is, Fibonacci pivot. This is drawn for the daily time frame with the central point, 3 support levels and 3 resistance levels, the P, R1, R2, R3 and S1, S2, S3. Now coming to its properties, this indicator is drawn using the last day's high, low and the closing price. We consider the price volatility in the prior day, and on the basis of that we get these levels drawn for the current day's trade setup, where we consider these pivot point, the central point, to be of a dividing factor, or you can say a deciding factor. The price movements above it are considered bullish, whereas the price movement below it are considered bearish. So this is a key marker in this whole setup. And apart from that, then we rely on these support levels, 3 key support levels and 3 resistance levels. Whenever we want to take the trade, if there has been substantial decline and if the consolidation is taking place on the lower levels, then we can of course consider the possibilities of exploiting the situation to our advantage using these support and resistance level. So we can utilize these levels to optimize our entry and exit points whenever we want to trade in the financial markets. So for that we can rely on these indicator to get us a good entry point as well as the exit point, and we would like to trade with the trend. And if we consider this central point, and if we simply take the example of today's price movement, you can see that the day started for the Euro USD below this pivot point, the central point, which was around 1.02748, and it never crossed above that, and whole day it has traded in a bearish momentum with some support first coming in around the first support level. Then we had some support consolidation closer to the third support of the day, and even now that has given way, and we are still seeing this bearishness. So the trend has been bearish, and we are seeing that the support levels are not also holding in today's session. That means the trend is quite strong, and if we were short closer to this central point in today's session, we would have been sitting in a large amount of profit. So that is the whole purpose behind these indicators formation, that we get the key points which we can use as a dividing factor. If we consider its historical levels, you will see that every day we get these key points, and these are quite easy to calculate. All we have to do is consider the high, low plus the closing price and divide it by the 3. That's how we arrive at the central point. And then whatever is the central point, we take the difference of the high and low, and we multiply it with the Fibonacci ratios, and we get these support and resistance levels. Now we will be getting the historical levels on the chart. There is some laptop issue. My laptop is facing some technical issue, because of that it is taking time. Otherwise the platform is fine, quite fast and responsive. Okay, show historical levels, it should be plotted. Let us change the time frame to 30 minutes. I have restored it back to the hourly time frame. Still, we are not really seeing the historical levels. Okay, the point being that this is the key level, and we arrive at this first support by simply taking into consideration the central point and then deducting from it the difference of high low multiplied with the 0.382, which is the first Fibonacci level, and this second support is arrived at by deducting the difference of high low multiplied by 0.618. So that's how we get this, and then this third support level is arrived at by deducting the difference of high low multiplied by 100%. So we simply take into consideration the difference of high low and we deduct it from the central point. And similarly, we get this resistance point, the three resistance point, by adding the difference of the high and low divided by respective Fibonacci ratios, the first being 0.382, second being 0.618, and third the 100%. So these levels can be utilized to look for the entry points. As we saw here, whenever there is such kind of consolidation, we can take the entry closer to the support area while keeping the stop loss little below it with a necessary buffer considering the price volatility. And if it holds close to this, then we will be able to make good money. And even if it doesn't hold, then we won't be suffering much of a loss, as we will have the risk reward ratio in our favor. Similarly, we can go for the short sale trades whenever we have the opportunity on our side. Now coming to these historical levels. All right, so here we get these historical levels. If we consider the prior session, last session, here also the price started closer to the central point, and then it continued to decline for a whole day and eventually settling close to 1.026. And today that bearish trend has continued. But if we consider earlier, here we had these bullish formations in place, and in those days the central point was acting as a key dividing factor, and as long as price momentum was above it, we were in good position to go long in these Euro USD, and as the momentum turned bearish, it is now better to keep shorting the Euro USD for trying to make money in this market. Okay, so we now consider what we can do with this indicator, how we can customize this indicator to arrive at key levels which we can then keep in mind whenever we are planning to go for any trade. So these are the editing options provided to us. We can opt for the historical levels to be shown or the Fibonacci levels, show labels, and then we get this output. The output can be made more colorful, more stylish. I will remove these historical levels and we will simply utilize some key resistance and support levels and central point to style it up. We will keep it with a lower transparency, whereas we also want to highlight these first resistance and first support as these are generally key, and for that we will go with a different style option and reduce its transparency and see how it looks. So this is how first resistance is showing up and this central point is now more highlighted. Okay, similarly for the first support we keep the color combination same, increase its width and lower the transparency. Okay, and if we don't really want other levels to be shown, then we can even opt out of this. So that can also be done, and you will see that only central point and first two support and resistance levels are plotted. If you want to use the other support and resistance levels and not these two, then you can do that as well. So it is all up to you, whichever levels you feel are going to help you and whichever levels you feel that needed to be ignored, the indicator can be customized accordingly. Now coming to the advanced editing options, the recalculation is done only on the new candle and this considering the time frame. Now that the time frame is daily, it will be plotted only once during the daytime and only when new candle formation takes place for the next day, the indicator values will generate the new central point and the support resistance levels. Highlight the time period zone if you opt for this, then the candle period under consideration for calculation will be highlighted. Instrument, it can be used from the chart or you can specify it on your own. The time frame for the calculation has to be specified and for that time frame the calculation with those levels will be visible on the chart. If I make it weekly, then those values will remain constant for whole of the week and prior week's data will be considered while making the calculation for this week. That's how this indicator works. So this will remain valid for whole of this week. And prior week's high, low and the closing value was utilized to arrive at this central point and the first support and first resistance level, and only three levels are being shown as we had edited the indicator to that effect. Time zone can be used from the chart, you can specify it and you should preferably using your local time, you can do that. On shorter time frames, the values can be shown at the custom period end, custom period start, custom period middle, or on each candle. The spread side can also be specified ask side or bid side. Generally, there is a spread for all of the instruments available on the platform. So there will be some difference depending on which side of the spread you are on, ask or bid. So minor values will be deviation will be there, slightly different values you will get for ask and bid spread. Then if you want the indicator to be shown on all the candle periods whenever you do the plotting, you have to opt for this. Otherwise, if you opt out of this, then you have to specify it on which candle time frame the indicator should be drawn, and only on those specified time frame the indicator will be plotted. So that's how this works. All right. So that's it from my side for today's session. If you have any query or any feedback to share, you can write back to me in the comment section. For further coverage of the market developments, do check out the Dukascopy Analytics page. We are also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there too. The link for the platform has also been included in the bio, so do check it out. Thank you all for joining in. I'll be back tomorrow with a new indicator, new explanation, new uses. Do come back. Have a good time. Goodbye.